Everything that happened to you was a setup, even the weapon's form. Blessed chosen one, welcome to day 6 of 30 Days Sovereign. Stay to the end of this important short transmission from Spirit for you, because what arrived this morning is going to reframe every door that closed on you, every room that ejected you, every person who thought they were removing you from your path. When Source was simply redirecting you toward it. This is not about fasting. This is about the setup and the sovereign truth that took years to fully understand. Nothing happened to you. Everything happened for you. Even the worst of it, especially the worst of it. Day 5 yesterday, an unwelcome energy penetrated the recording space. Someone else's physical distress transmitting through the field. The empath vessel receiving what it was never asked to carry, and I recorded anyway. If you listen to that recording, you could hear me working through those energies because the transmission does not wait for perfect condition, and the sovereign chosen one does not wait for the environment to cooperate. They show up in the disruption, through the disruption, because that is what it looks like to live from expanded capacity. Here is what I have been sitting with this morning. There was a season where a door closed violently without warning by staff at Salvation Army shelter who thought they had the power to determine where I would land. The worker, Emmeline, bragged about her tenure, their authority, their leverage that not even city official could remove them from their position. They reported to management fictitious events to manufacture my exit. That sent me out the door with nowhere confirmed at the time to go. What they did not know is that Source had already arranged what was on the other side of the door they closed. The weapon they formed became the sovereign setup, and everything they thought they were removing from me, Source was already moving me towards better. The childhood lie is when the door closes, it means you failed. So you stayed in rooms that were contracting your field longer than necessary because the closed door felt like punishment, not promotion. And it gets deeper. If Source was with you, it would not have happened that way. So you question the sovereign path every time something unfolded in a way that looked like loss. Because the programming said, sovereign favor looks like smooth. And the most toxic version of this lie is this: they won. So you carried the weight of every ejection, every betrayal, every manufactured exit as evidence that the wrong side prevailed. But you're breaking that lie today because the weapon formed does not determine the outcome. Source determines the outcome. And Source has never once allowed a door to close on a chosen one without already having arranged what is on the other side. Cycle breakers, kings and queens. For empaths, the relationship that ended, the friendship that dissolved, the family that chose the narcissist over you felt like abandonment. But Source was removing you from a field that was contracting your sovereign capacity, one interaction at a time. The ending was the setup. For Black Sheep, the job that let you go, the community that excluded you, the room that decided you were too much, felt like rejection. But Source was removing you from a ceiling that was never built for your sovereign frequency. The ejection was the promotion. narcissist survivors and targets. The narcissist discarding you, the final discard, the moment they chose someone else, felt like the worst thing that could have happened. But Source was closing a door on a contract that was costing you your sovereign feel, your health, your capacity, your crown. The discard was the divine redirect. For fire signs, every time you were told you were too much, too intense, too sovereign, too real, and the room closed the door on your frequency, Source was protecting you from dimming yourself any further in a space that was never sovereign enough to hold your fire. The closed door was the sovereign invitation to find the room that is. And let me say it the way the sovereign understand it. The people who closed the door thought they won. They are still there in the same room with the same ceiling, with the same contracted capacity. And you, the one they ejected, are here, sovereign, expanded, and just getting started. Kings and queens, this is what it looks like when a chosen one trusts Source with every closed doors. Subscribe, follow, share this transmission with the chosen one who is ready to hear it, and comment below, confirm the transmission from Spirit Landed. Cycle breakers, empath, narcissist survivors, black sheep, fire sign warriors, kings and queens. Here's what Spirit delivered through me to reclaim your crown and sovereignty. You are chosen. And every door that closed on you was Source protecting you, was Source protecting what was sovereign inside you from what was contracted around you. The setup was always working in your favor. In Chapter 1, the Earth School Lesson Plan, the beginning, you kept trying to reopen the doors Source had closed, kept explaining yourself to rooms that had already decided, kept shrinking to fit back through doors that Source had sealed for your sovereign protection. And the Earth School lesson is this: when Source closes a door, no amount of sovereign effort opens it back. Because it was never meant to open back. It was meant to send you forward. In Chapter 2, you choose the ending. When you surrender to Source, when you stop fighting the closed doors, when you trust that the ejection was the promotion, you stop losing energy, trying to return to what Source already moved you from. You reclaim your crown and you walk toward the open door. The one Source arranged on the other side of everything they thought was removing you. You step into birthright inheritance, not because everything went smoothly, but because Source used everything that did not to build the sovereign path that is now. Many bypassers resist the closed door. Why did this happen to me? It was not supposed to end like this. I did everything right. Spending sovereign energy trying to understand what was simply Source redirecting the chosen one towards what is already prepared. So they stay grieving the closed door while the open one awaits just ahead of where they stopped. Real cycle breakers show up anyway, imperfect, consistent, sovereign. They walk through the closed doors without making it their final chapter. They trust that the weapon form is in Source's hands, not the enemy's. They walk through the disruption, record through the unwelcome energy, post through the low mood. Because the transmission does not wait for perfect conditions, and neither does the sovereign chosen one. They document the setup so the next chosen one sees that what looked like the worst thing was the setup for the best thing. Real cycle breakers do not just survive the closed door, they thrive on the other side of it. They do not just accept the redirect, they allow it with sovereign certainty. They get clarity. Every closed door was source protecting the sovereign path. They get momentum. The energy unspent fighting closed doors is now fully invested in walking through open ones. They never grieve what was removed. Instead, they celebrate what is being revealed. On the other side of every door, source ever closed. You choose. The resistance cycle where you keep fighting the closed door, keep explaining yourself to rooms that have already decided, keep shrinking to fit back through exits source already sealed, or sovereignty, where you trust the redirect, walk toward the open doors, and let source complete what is already being built on the other side. When your crown is restored, your abundance blueprints activate. Trust activates. Every closed door is recognized as sovereign protection, not punishment. Direction activates. Every sovereign energy is invested in open doors, not sealed ones. Setup activates. The chosen one begin to see the divine architecture in everything that unfolded, even the worst of it, even if it appears the weapon form. That is throne ready. Day 5, the unwelcome energy came through yesterday, and I recorded anyway because the transmission does not wait for perfect condition, and Source does not waste a single setup. Not one closed door, not one manufactured exit, not one weapon form. They all work together for the sovereign good of the chosen one who trusts Source. Remember who you are, chosen one. Your kingdom awaits. Let's reign together, Crown Tribe. Namaste.